One of the biggest karmic challenges for Scorpios, people with Scorpio and their big three, prominent Scorpio placements, prominent aspects to Pluto, all those people, they fall into this bucket. One of the biggest challenges is learning how to manage this deep-rooted, unconscious tendency towards obsession, tendency towards extremes. And it can manifest in any number of ways. I don't know about you, but a lot of the Scorpios that I've observed or talked to actually have a hard time with something sort of simple, like, having a very balanced day that's scheduled out with a to-do list. Being able to do one thing for an hour and then do another thing, and step by step work on a variety of different goals, not too worried about each individual one, just a lot of balance. Scorpios seem to unlock some sort of extra human power when they almost fall into a rabbit hole or a black hole in things, and they become obsessed. It's not like they're focused on something because, my to-do list said so. It's like they are compulsively driven from something deep, deep inside them. And so the question becomes, where are you directing that energy? And what guardrails are you putting in place or building into your life in order to make sure that extremism, that obsession doesn't become something that is unhealthy or destructive or derailing? In some sense, it is a little bit of a rites of passage for Scorpios to fall into that mode and to take something overboard so far that it's sabotaged or destroyed or something else crumbles in their life as a result. Because obviously that sucks. That doesn't sound fun, but there is an opportunity for Scorpio to actually learn the consequences of that, because they're not going to learn it from someone being like, hey, I don't know if you should do that, or maybe you should do this, right? Scorpio, they don't really want to listen to that. There's, that's the fixed intensity of Scorpio. They have to sometimes learn their own lessons. So yes, it's a rites of passage to learn this about themselves, but it's also, I think, unfair to say they learn this lesson and then everything for the rest of their life just perfectly falls into place because they know exactly how to harness their energy. Life is a spiral, right? We're always coming back to the same sort of lessons and truths from slightly different positions and perspectives. And hopefully the idea is that you are continually arriving at a wiser and wiser perspective. All that is to say that learning how to harness that intensity and obsession is something that's a lifelong task for Scorpios. I think one of the most important and one of the most effective things a Scorpio can do is to build even just one thing in their life that is an absolute constant. Habits, we build our habits over time. Sometimes habits can come and go. And you shouldn't complicate this task. What's just one thing that you can do that you enjoy enough that will be somewhat of an observation deck for you to always come back to? What is the one thing that is going to help you stay grounded? And obviously relationships can do this, friendships can do this, family can do this, but it's important for Scorpio to have one thing for themselves that they try to commit to doing for their whole life that is that's just something that I do, right? And for me, running is one of those things, journaling is one of those things. Find something that works for you. And in terms of kind of managing this tendency towards obsession with things, there's no one size fits all lesson or piece of advice. It's sort of going to be each person's individual process. I think the danger with obsession is that it's not, something that's sustainable. You can become obsessed with something and then it breaks or it goes away or something beyond your control happens, and then you're left bungee jumping and the rope breaks, right? Or, being obsessed with something, throws off the balance of other things in your life and something else breaks because you're not focused on it, and then you're not in a great position to respond to that and also drop the thing that you're hyper focused on. Sometimes Scorpios can get super obsessed about relationships or love interests, and that's always something that is going to be, a two-way street. It's dependent on another person, and things are impermanent. Relationships change, or they don't last, or our feelings toward them change. And so Scorpio is going to go through this process of, this cycle of obsessions, and things break. And there's, again, this sort of metaphorical death and rebirth and reinvention of self. That is the kind of shedding of the skin, the constant process of going from these more lower basal like stages to the more kind of evolved stages. And then it always keeps coming back. And when things do break, it's obviously a moment loaded with a lot of potential energy for Scorpio to do a lot of things. But where things can go very wrong is when a Scorpio, things do fall apart, things do break. And then that intensity and obsession is not directed in a positive way. It's focused on the breakage. It's an obsession with, oh no, things are so bad. It is the all or nothing tendency that's so focused on the nothing because the all hasn't worked out. And there almost becomes a resistance to getting out of that. I mean, it can trap Scorpios. They can get caught in this, it doesn't matter. And then you start to see obsession in self-destructive ways. Things can't be as I wanted them anymore. Things can't be perfect. Things can't be ideal. So I'm stuck and I'm not going to try. All that intensity is trapped or poorly directed. And that's why, if possible, continue to kind of maintain that one foundation, that one kind of foundational habit to bring the Scorpio back. That is the platform of strength. That is the platform of reliability, of structure when everything else crumbles. That is going to be a little bit of not only a thing that will give them perspective and allow them to kind of step outside of their world a little bit. It's also a little bit of a trampoline and a launch point and a jumping off point when it is time for them to do a reset and they're in a rebirth phase, and they kind of just need one first thing to continue to have confidence in and to have satisfaction in and to find strength and self-confidence in. I hope all that made sense. It wasn't too abstract. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.